a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Ultimately, winning football is winning football. That's been really consistent.
Wants to run. Yes, here he goes down. Mateo Uyangalele.
Group playing with hunger. They're in the mindset that I got to go take this. I want to get on the field. I want to play.
Sadiq inside of the 5. Hurdles his way into the end zone. Was it caught? It was. Touchdown. Evan Stewart.
It's really incredible how they work. They don't blame. They don't complain. They just come up here every single day and work their tails off.
Up the middle. Buster 5, 3, 2. Lowers his head into the end zone.
I'm just ready to attack it and figure out what we're really great at, what we got to improve at. That's the fun part for me, is what problems do we get to solve.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
Welcome back. It is so good to be back in on a Wednesday night. It is our Country Financial Studio. Protect what matters. That's why I'm here, to help Jorgie so he didn't hurt himself. I'm protecting him.
Thank you.
Kind of works both ways. And our Toyota Coaches Show tonight, a really special guest. A special teams coach, which we rarely get a chance to really talk special teams a lot. A little small part of the football game that is a huge part of the football game's success. Joe Lorig is with us tonight.
Coach.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good to have you here.
It's great to have you in our Pepsi Coaches interview. We're going to talk football a little bit. We'll get into what you do, but we got to learn more about you. It's been a while, I think, since we talked to you about family and growing up on all of that. Talk about your family a little bit.
Yeah, so I have a wife, Becky, 3 kids, my oldest daughter, Jordan, my son, Tyler, my youngest daughter, Emma. My daughter, Jordan's going off to college this year. She's heading off to Western Oregon. Go follow in my footsteps. So that's going to be great.
Yeah.
Not follow my footsteps. She's going to make her own path. I'm just joking. But she's going to Western Oregon. My son, Tyler, will be a junior at Sheldon High School. And my daughter, Emma, will be in 8th grade. So we're excited. We're happy to be here around family. My wife's from Klamath Falls, Oregon, and I'm from Seattle, Washington, and went to school at Western Oregon, like I said. So we're really excited to be what we consider to be home.
You've been at different places around the country.
Yeah.
As coaches do, you find lots of places and lots of jobs, lots of opportunities that you take advantage of. But you're back in the Northwest, and as you mentioned, you got family in the Northwest up in Washington still. So talk about how nice that is to be close in proximity to family.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, I have had a lot of jobs. I think we counted 14 the other day. It was one of our quiz questions with the players. So I went through my resume with them, and their eyes were like, "Wow, that's crazy." But yeah, it's really nice. You know, I'm very close with my mom. I had a single mom growing up and extremely close with her, and she comes to every home game. She was down here this weekend. My brother and sister still live in Seattle, extended family as well. So really, really important for my kids. As I said, my wife is from Klamath Falls, so just for my kids to grow up around family and to after the game have everybody over at the house and stuff. It's really a special experience that we can appreciate even more because we haven't always had that.
You've been all over the nation. We always say the left coast is the best coast, the west coast, and it's home. There's something special about that. Growing up as a kid, were you a sports fan? Did you have teams you followed, college or pros? I mean, did you get caught up in the Husky Cougar battles?
I was going to ask that question. You grew up in Edmonds. Does it mean you automatically become?
Yeah, so I'm embarrassed to say I grew up a huge Husky. The pick broke my heart.
Oh.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah,
Okay.
I cried that day. Actually, literally cried. Grew up a huge Husky fan, and then it's a long story that you wouldn't want to hear. But later on, became a Coug. Coach Price is a real close family. Became a real close family friend. I worked with one of his sons, and so later on became a Coug, and really always respected it and admired Oregon from afar. Just never even could have even imagined in my wildest dreams that I would ever have the opportunity to work here. So yeah, I did definitely grow up a Pac-10 fan for sure.
But you were in, as I mentioned before, growing up in the Northwest. You were in and around the Northwest all the time. Up north of Seattle, go to high school. Walla Walla JC, play football, outstanding cornerback there, on to Western Oregon, like you mentioned, where your daughter going. You've always been in and around Beaver football, Duck football, Husky, Cougar football, so you know those programs pretty well, I'll bet.
I do, yeah. Just all those regional rivalries that used to happen, all the kind of following the recruiting stuff. I've watched every Civil War, every Apple Cup. I was into it then, and I'm into it now when they play for sure.
being a West Coast guy, growing up here, playing high school ball, college ball, your connections to the high school programs and recruiting got to be a huge benefit. When you were back east, you had the West Coast, and now you're here. How much does that help, being a hometown guy?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. Western Oregon especially is a teacher's college, so there's really not a high school that I ever go to that I can think of in this state where I don't know somebody on the staff or in the administration or that's a teacher. And I think that helps you. Recruiting is about relationships. People say that, but it really is true, and it really helps you to, in my opinion, to get valid information from people. And also my friends will call, hey, did you see this guy? Or, hey, we saw this guy. He's not quite what you might have thought he was. And just getting that information from people that I trust is super critical.
Special teams is such a big part of every game, and you've been involved in special teams a long, long time from a coaching standpoint, but started out as a defensive coach, played defense, obviously, in college. Is that what took you down the defensive side of the ball, which is what you've been in and around aside from special teams all your career?
Yeah, I think typically you have a tendency to go on the side of the ball that you played on because that's what you're most comfortable, and oftentimes you get hired as a graduate assistant, and it's kind of right out of getting done playing typically, and so I probably my personality is a little bit more that way as well. Defensive guys tend to be a little bit different than offensive guys in certain ways, but yeah, just that was how I started. It was always involved in special teams, and then at one point one of the head coaches that I worked for said, hey, I'm going to make you the special teams coordinator, and here we go. It's been a long, fun road. It's a very unique role, I can tell you that.
Well, and Jorge, you mentioned you started out as a defensive guy in college football, but you didn't start out in college football for a career. I mean, you got the degree in law enforcement and then the master's in correction administration. You actually went that way for a while.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was very involved in working in the prisons when I was in college. I worked in juvenile probation for a while. I worked in juvenile detention centers for a while to help pay for college partially, but also to get experience, because my goal was to go on and work like in the FBI or the DEA or something like that. And then I was a juvenile sex offender probation officer, which is a tough job. Got a call from my college coach who said, hey, we have a GA job open here. And the idea was that I would go back there, back to Western Oregon, go back there, be a graduate assistant, and graduate, and you'd make more money if you had a master's degree going back into the corrections field. And then once I went and was around young people again and started coaching, I just never went back. It was incredible.
We'll pepper you with a lot of special teams questions coming up, but why special teams? What's your love for special teams? Why is special teams special to you?
Well, again, I just kind of always grew up around it. I worked for a head coach named Larry Lewis that involved the whole staff in it. Football's really changed and morphed over the years. You didn't used to have as big a staff, so kind of everybody did it. And we still have everybody pretty involved here. But, it's just one of those elements of the game that can kind of be overlooked. To me, everybody in the country is going to focus on offense and on defense, but a lot of teams, a lot of head coaches especially, will talk about special teams like it's important, but they don't actually want to do what's important. And if you get with a head coach like Coach Lanning, him and I worked together before multiple times, so I knew what his philosophy was going to be on it. And I firmly, if you put me on a polygraph test right now, I would tell you 1,000% it's going to affect every single game. We call it change the game, CTG here. Either positively or negatively. And when you're really watching, it's just those hidden yards that add up, So like, for instance, if you kick a sky punt, for instance, I was just watching some film before I came over here, and the ball just lands in the end zone, right? Well, nobody really remembers that play. There was just 20 yards lost right there. Like if you had downed the ball on the 4, 16 yards lost, right? Because it just goes out to the 20. You follow what I'm saying?
Sure.
If you kick off and you tackle them on the 18, and then your next kick return goes to the 30, there's another 12 yards. Well, if you start adding these things up and we keep track of it, it's called hidden yardage. If you keep track of it over the course of the game, sometimes it's 80, 90, 100 yards in games. And it's like, if your offense could add 80, 90, 100 yards to their total, or your defense could take 80, 90, 100 off their total, you'd be like the best in the country, right? So just all those little things that can add up. And I believe that it can be again, when you get to the highest levels of football like we're at, and you play really, really good teams, there's such small margin, just that slim margin that's going to help you win or lose. And I firmly believe that that's the area that we can, obviously offense and defense, everybody knows that, but that's the area where we can maybe have an advantage over other people, where you can win that. I don't want to name specific games, but you can win that game. You got to win. You can win in the playoffs. You can win a national championship. So that's what interests me about it. And another part of it is that I get to work with all the players. I think that's pretty cool. Like I coach the specialists, but people don't realize it's my job to capture the attention of our whole team. I have to coach the running backs, the receivers, the DBs, the linebackers, the D-line, like everybody.
They're all involved.
They're all involved. And I think that's cool. I get to know them all. I get to, again, it's fun for me because it's my job to make them want to do that. No one comes to Oregon to be the left guard on punt. No one. Well, our left guard on punt last year was Bryce Betcher. He's really good. You know who our right guard was? Jeff Bassa. He's really good. And they both took a ton, and still take, Bryce does, a ton of pride in that. And I'd like to think that, I'm not trying to take credit, but I'm saying I'd like to think that that's because I helped to make them believe that it's important. Right, that's a huge part of what I do.
Coach, I looked at your bio, where you've been, and the number of players that were special, move on to the next level, the NFL, won awards. I mean, what you've accomplished is obvious. I'll just tell you, through the years I've been doing college football, games are won or lost quite often on special teams. At the end of a game, early in a game, make a defense or an offense have to go an extra 20 yards and not make a mistake. Special teams is critical. And we're going to talk more about that and how you pick those guys. We're going to do that when we come back. Pepsi coach's interview. He is special teams coach Joe Lorig, and this is fascinating. I love special teams. We're going to talk about the punters and the kickers and a great boxer who's sort of on the team. I'll fill you in on that. Coming back with more after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially, like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about, more for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More gridiron action in 1 minute.
Goosebump time. It's gonna be a great game.
Coming your way on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studio. I'm Jerry Allen with Jorgie and special teams coach Joe Lorig, our Pepsi coaches interview guest tonight. It's the Coaches Show brought to you by Toyota. Coach, you're talking about special teams, and there's punting, kicking, but the coverage teams, the collisions, and all the guys that get out there and really put on a show. How do you choose? How do you know who to put on that punt recover team or the kickoff cover team or the kickoff team at punt team?
Yeah, well, every team's a little bit different. You know, you have to have different skill sets per team. You know, we were putting together a kickoff cover depth, so I'll talk about that one just last night as a staff. And I was saying, you know, at the front side of your kickoff cover team, you have to be able to run, you have to be pretty fearless, and you have to be able to change directions. Right? You can't just be fast. You have to have that combination of things. And then it's different on punt. You know, it's different on each unit, but we look for guys that are smart. We look for guys that are hungry. We look for guys that want to play. nobody comes here wanting to be the left guard on punt protection, right? How do we get them to see the value in that? One of the things that I do is I show other guys in their development. I showed during camp, I showed Bryce Betcher being a 4-team, meaning punt, kickoff return, kickoff cover, and punt return starter here before he was, the all-world linebacker. I showed Kenyon Sadiq being a 4-team starter just last year. Wow. And so every play that you get is development, and I also sell guys a lot on everybody. I asked just 2 weeks ago in the team room, who wants to play in the NFL? Well, how many hands do you think went up?
Oh, everybody.
Every single one of them, right? So then I show them examples of the guys that make NFL team. I got 2 this year. I get calls every single year talking about, Coach, thank you. I'm glad I listened in those meetings because the reason I made the team is because of special teams, because it's a huge part at the next level. And so a big part of my job is the salesmanship of it, but it's genuine. It's trying to show these guys I want them to live their dreams. I want to be good here, but I want to help them live their dreams. And if they can add that special teams piece to their quiver, to their bag of tricks there, it's going to help them in the future, and it obviously helps us.
There's 11 guys every time that they're either on the return team, on the coverage team, or whatever else goes with it. And then you've got the focus of oftentimes what the TV camera goes to and the fans, and that's the return guys, kickoff return, punt return, whatever it might be. Well, traits. There's got to be a certain trait, I'm assuming you as coaches look for in guys that do that. What are those, if there are traits that you have to look for?
Yeah, as far as like kickoff return, punt return?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's very simple. We have 2 goals on special teams in our program. It's own the ball and not have any penalties. It doesn't say lead the nation in kickoff return, although we might do that. It doesn't say lead the Big Ten in punt return, although we want to do that, right? It says own the ball and no penalties. So the number one thing is people we can trust. Okay, so we chart every single day. It's charted. We do our first 5 minutes of practice every day, our special teams, which is Coach Lanning's emphasis that we start practice that way. It shows, how important it is to him. And then every single day that's charted. So if you're a punt returner from the very first day of fall camp to today, I put the charts up once a week, and you can see this guy dropped the ball 8 times, this guy dropped the ball no times, that guy's our punt returner. Right, so that's the start of it, and then obviously you want to have the skill set of speed and fearlessness, and how fast is he? How much can he cut? Does he cut in the right time? Does he run straight ahead and with no fear on kickoff return? So those certainly go into it, but it starts with being able to trust people back there.
Does analytics play into who plays on special teams? Play count, pitch count, like it would be in baseball, all those different things, kickers, how often they kick the ball during the week. Do you guys also chart that from an analytics standpoint?
Absolutely, all of it, all the above that you just said. The important part for rep counts, which is a really big thing for us, is I always want to make sure in a program that I'm not overutilizing or underutilizing anybody. So we keep a game count of you played in 10 reps of special teams last game, and then we keep an overall season count. And then we meet as a staff, and Coach Lanning and the coordinators and I, along with the assistant coaches, every Sunday after the game, we go through and say, okay, Bryce Betcher, since I said him earlier, he had this many plays on special teams, this many plays on defense. He's right where he needs to be. Okay, yeah, this many plays on special teams, this many plays on defense. Too many? Where do we need to back this off? Or, hey, in this week's package, he wasn't as much. We're in some kind of dime personnel, so actually he can be upped, right? And so there's that constant communication to make sure. Again, I really learned a lesson. I don't want to be too long-winded, but I really learned a lesson. There was a guy named Tony Pollard. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He's a great running back in the NFL. Yeah. He played for us at Memphis, and I had him only on 2 teams. Well, when we were doing the rep count stuff, the head coach was like, well, he only played 15 plays of offense. And I was like, Tony Pollard only played 15 plays of offense, so that's kind of where that came from, is making sure that I know how much offense, defense they're playing, and that I communicate how much special teams they're playing with each other. So it's a communication piece, again, to make sure we're not under or overutilizing guys.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours of preparation. The whole process is hard for all of us to wrap our heads around. But when we watch a coverage team or return team, we see guys hell-bent for leather running down the field. Looks like they're just running a straight line trying to get to the ball carrier. But there's a pattern to it. I mean, I watch practices, and I see you're teaching guys where they should be, how they should be, and what they should be. It's not just run like crazy.
No, you definitely don't want to run like crazy. We call that relative spacing in our program. And what relative spacing means, it's really simple. I can't stand up in the studio, but let's say this was 2 people. The first day of fall camp, I stand 2 guys up in the room, and it's usually me and one other guy. And I say, what do you guys think? If we're just playing any football at all, you think we're too close or too tight? And they'll say, oh, you're way too tight, coach. And then me and the guy walk far apart. And I'll say, what do you think now? Like, Coach, you're way too far apart. Doesn't matter. Kickoff, punt, whatever you're on. Then I get about there and I say, well, how about now? That's about right. That's relative spacing. Whenever you see people just run down and have poor relative spacing, and I show examples of this every week, it's when they're all on top of each other. They're what we call it following color. Poor relative spacing, bad things happen. You want to spread the field. We call it casting the net with relative spacing, and then you want to close that net on the ball carrier. Very, very, very critical. And again, it's more captivating for guys if I show them.
Sure.
Like I was just breaking down a video before I got here. So last weekend, South Carolina had an 80-yard punt return against Virginia Tech. Very poor relative spacing. 3 guys running down right behind each other. So what do you think we're showing tomorrow morning? That return, right?
Yep.
So you don't just run down. That's not good football. Yes, we're going to run down fast, but we're going to run down with relative spacing and leverage on the football.
And you've got the opposition trying not to let you go down those lanes too. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the other side of it too.
Absolutely. And a big part of that is kind of a lost part of it is the specialist. So do you have a punter that can put the ball where he's supposed to? So, a lot of, again, fans would have no idea it's a big booming punt. Well, a big booming punt's not always a good thing, right? Where is that? We want to – the field's 53 1/3 yards wide. We want to shrink the return units to be out from the hash over, which is 20 yards. So whenever we're kicking a ball, whether it's kickoff or punt, it doesn't mean we're always going to the boundary of the field, but wherever it is, we want to put the opponent from the hash to the sideline, those 20 yards, so we don't have to cover the rest of them. We're going to initially with relative spacing, but we eventually want to close
Shrink
that
it
net.
down. Shrink it down.
And so if the punter or kicker can put the ball the location where it needs to be, now the net can start wide and get tight really fast. If the ball's in the middle of the field, that net's going to stay wide, right? Because there's more field to cover.
Interesting.
The less field you have to cover, the more success you're going to have.
Yeah. The individuals you just talked about, punter, kicker, have to perform well, and you've got some good ones, don't you? And with great competition between them all, that just makes them that much better.
Yeah, I always tell guys like sometimes when you're recruiting punters and kickers, they'll say like, well, who do you guys already have? And I always say it real simple, like. It's just like quarterback or running back. Like, we're not going to have one good quarterback, right? I mean, you're at Oregon. You're going to have 4 or 5. You're going to have 4 or 5 great running backs. Like, I want competition in that room. Like I said, just like quarterbacks, running backs, it should be exactly the same. The backup punter, every day when the punter goes out there, he got to feel like if he doesn't do well, the backup's going to try to take it. He is going to take his job. That's how I want us to feel at snapper, kicker, and punter.
You had a transfer last year and a kicker, transfer this year as a punter. To me, watching it, it's created better competition, and the guys who are here are much better for that. It's not like they're playing for second. They have a chance to get better and play for first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, that's our program, right? Like no different than any other position. That's how our program operates.
We try not to zero in on individuals, kickers, punters, whatever else it might be. I'm going to zoom in on one that doesn't end up doing a whole lot, but I think he's doing a whole lot on kickoff returns, and that is you got Whittington always on the right side, Lamar on the left side. Ball very seldom goes to Lamar, and yet what's his role in a kickoff return as the left guy on every kickoff return?
Yeah, funny you should say that, because just today after practice, Coach Lanning was talking about, he had asked a couple of the guys who's one of the best teammates on the team, and Jaden was the guy that he pointed out after practice today. So his role is to help we call him the primary returner, the guy on the right, Noah, make good decisions. Because if you're standing back there, most people haven't. I did at a much lower level. But if you're standing back there and you're looking up with 11 grown men coming down that really want to hurt you, right, and you're looking up, sometimes it's hard to know exactly, did I move back to, did I move forward to, am I in the end zone, should this be a touchback? Like, you can kind of lose sight of that. So his job is to help Noah or whoever's back there make great decisions. And then his job is, if it's returned, to lead him up the field and to block anyone that cannot tackle him. So if I'm Jaden and I'm running and it's all happening like bam, 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 like really, really fast, can that guy tackle me? No, go to the next guy. Can that guy tackle me? No, go to the next guy. Because his rule is if he can tackle you, he can tackle the returner. It's happening really, really fast, though, way faster than I could possibly say it, and he is amazing at it. I've said on other shows he's the best, what we call off returner in the country. And it's not even questionable. I've done this for a long, long time. And be careful kicking to him. If anybody goes back and watches Oregon State last year, he's about a fingernail away from a touchdown. He just tripped up just a little bit, or they cross kicked, and he's going to the house.
Before I let you go, a couple of things. You've got a local kid, a kicker. We call him Rocky Graziano. It's Rocco. About how many kids know that he's sort of the image of a great boxer back in the 40s and 50s. I mean, most of them probably didn't know that, do they?
I don't think most of them probably know that. No, but the older I get, the more I'm surprised at a lot of stuff they don't know. I'm like, have you guys ever seen this movie? And they look at me like, what's wrong with you, Coach? So, no, I don't think they know that, but I know it. I get the reference, absolutely.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. What do you know about Oklahoma State as we get ready for the Cowboys?
They are a really, really good special teams unit. I was telling the team that this morning. They have an excellent coach. Sean Snyder is his name. His dad was Bill Snyder, the longtime Kansas State coach, known for special teams, so a little bit like Coach Beamer back in the old days at Virginia Tech. So they're really well coached. They're very talented. I think we'll have a real challenge. They're very, very good in this area.
All right, Coach, I can't thank you enough. We could talk to you for another hour and a half. I mean, you are a great interview. Coach Joe Lorig, special teams coach. Amazing the amount of hours you all put in. Nobody realizes it's just come play football on Saturday. There's a little more to it than that.
It's a little more to it than that, but I can tell you this. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm honored to do it at Oregon. It means the world to me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here. Thanks so much for being a part of the show tonight.
Thanks guys. You guys do a great job. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Toyota Coaches Show, Country Financial Studio. We have Gary Bryant Jr. We didn't ask Coach about him, but you're going to find out all about Gary Bryant Jr. when we come back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially, like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about, more for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Football the way you like it.
Woo! That was some football.
The Oregon Ducks on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it is the Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Joey Mac. He is Gary Bryant Jr., joining us in the studio for the first time. All right, I'm hoping that nobody warned you about our tradition. Did anybody warn you?
Nah, nope.
Excellent. All right, so we always ask everybody to tell their 2-minute life story. Right there behind Jorgie is the leaderboard. I'm betting that you can beat Bo Nix's minute 53.03. It's one of the better ones we've had from an offensive guy on the football roster. So the goal is as close to 2 minutes as possible. It's the life story of you. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. 2-minute life story, go.
I'm Gary Bryant Jr., born in California. I went to Corona Centennial for high school. Kind of was a heavy recruit coming out of high school. Ended up going to USC for my first 3 seasons of college football. And ended up transferring to Oregon, man, and it changed my life, man. Gave me a different perspective of football and family and how they do different things in different environment. But, man, I always grew up, having goals of playing in the NFL. Ever since I was 6, I grabbed the football with my dad in the backyard, and he was like, man, if this is something you want to do, you got to be fully invested into it. So, I mean, it's always been something I want to do, and obviously I'm still chasing that goal every day, man, and just waking up like, man, this is the goal that I want to do is play NFL football at the biggest level and compete with them guys. But it's been a journey, man. I got hurt last year, so I really couldn't play that many snaps. But this year, fully healthy, man, and whatever I could do to, help this team succeed our goal and get to that final place that we want to be at, I've been all in to do so. So it's a little bit about me.
Minute 3.2.
Minute 3?
No, that's
man.
good. Look, so I say this all the time, Gary, like, when you've got that long NFL career to review, then the 2 minutes is going to be hard to keep it to 2 minutes, right? All right, well, as you can imagine, I do have a lot of follow-ups. Tell us a little bit about your family, too. What was it like growing up?
It was good. My mom and my dad, they both raised me. Pops was always hard on me, like, man, he wanted to keep me going anywhere negative. Like, man, I'm going to keep you in the house and keep a football in your hand so you could be successful, man. He always wanted me to go to college and get a degree. That was, like, his main thing, man, get a degree. Football's going to play itself out. So that's always been in my mind, get a degree and football take care of itself. But I got an older sister, a little brother. My little brother's 13, so he's a little younger than me, but he's playing football as well. It has goals of, being big time one day. But it was pretty nice growing up, man. It was strictly football. Like, on the weekends, all my friends going out partying, and it was like, no, you're going to play football. You're going to put a ball in your hand, and, and it's been paying off.
Were you always a receiver?
Well, Little League, you do everything from quarterback to running back to receiver to playing linebacker. I'm small, playing linebacker, trying to make tackles, playing corner, playing safety. So
you're telling me you were never the defensive lineman?
Nah,
Come on.
Nah, I never played O-line, never played D-line, but I played everything besides those two spots.
Wow.
Everything besides those two.
And then you settled in on receiver, though. When did that happen? Was it like high school?
Yeah, high school. So it was like, okay, so you're going to play corner or receiver. And I'm like, man, I want to score touchdowns.
Right. I get it.
I want to score touchdowns. I want to be the man that's getting in the end zone, man, helping the team win games. So it was like at my school, Centennial, it was not really too many two-way players. Everybody in high school kind of plays two ways. I played two ways my junior year and a little bit of my senior year. But it was like you got to pick between the two. So I was like, man, let me play receiver. I like scoring touchdowns. I like the thrill of getting in the end zone and having everybody shout.
You touched on this a little bit, just about your journey to Oregon. But why did you choose Oregon? When you hit the transfer portal, what was that process like? Why did you become a Duck?
As soon as I jumped in, Coach Adams reached out to me like, man, you're going to be a Duck. He was at Washington recruiting me out of high school, and they were like in my top last 3 schools of where I wanted to go, and he was a big part of that. Like, man, I wanted to be developed, going into the NFL. I wanted to already be developed, and he was a guy at Washington that was like developing wideouts left and right, and I was like, man, this is somewhere I got to be. And then just coming here and visiting, seeing Dan Lannon and seeing Coach Lorig and seeing Coach Stein, like all these guys is just like so family orientated. And it was like, man, this is a place that I can really call home and feel comfortable being out of state and coming out here to play football.
When you touched on Coach Adams, when you talk about NFL development now, right? That I imagine that was tough for you, but that's probably pretty cool for him from your perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the business. Like, everybody's trying to get, moved up and
trying to get to the league.
And that was his goal of like, man, he wants to coach in the league. And I always knew that, like you're not going to be here forever. These coaches, they might be somewhere next year or however it may work out for everybody. But I was excited to hear, like, man, we got one of a coach that coached me, and he's in the NFL. So hopefully when it's my time, hopefully I end up there wherever I end up. But I'm just excited for him, man. Like, it's going to be exciting to see how them receivers rock out at the Cowboys.
That's cool. And now I have to ask you then about Coach Douglas. What's it been like getting to know Coach Douglas this year?
It's been great, man. He's a younger coach, so full of energy. Like, man, he can relate to all the wideouts, and it's been great. Like, he's been adapting to us, and we've been adapting to him, and it's been like a real good mesh for us, for sure.
All right, I want to go back now to something you mentioned about how your family, your dad focused on the degree. So what's your major? What's the degree in?
Well, I got my degree in communications at USC.
That's right.
Yep. So I got a degree before I transferred there. I was like, man, let me make sure I get a degree from a school like this. And then here I'm working on getting it in business. So
nice.
Yep, I'll have it soon.
So you have mastered what we would say in the media industry are the two pillars. You can communicate and you know how to make money communicating.
And those are the big things. Like, man, you got to know how to communicate, and then you got to know, like, the ins and out of business. And you'll make a lot of money if you know those two things for sure.
That's right. Gary Bryant Jr. with us. All right, I wanted to ask you, too, I mean, on a more somber note, like, what was that like last year being banged up? I imagine that had to be mentally tough for you.
Yeah, it was. Like, man, just watching, I was, like, the first couple of weeks, I couldn't travel to the games. So just watching the games on TV, sitting there watching these guys play great, man, that was, like, I was amazed at just seeing how the camaraderie was on TV, but it was like, man, I wish I could be out there with these guys making plays, like whatever I could do to help this team. And my whole mindset was like, I was still practicing. Like week 6, I was still practicing. So I was like, shoot, if I got to be on scout team to help these guys prepare for the week, that's what I got to do. Because in the back of my mind, I knew I wasn't fully healthy. But I'm like, whatever I got to do, if it's scout, punt return, kickoff return, whatever I need to do to help these guys get better. I was my full steam headed at that for sure.
Man, though, I mean, you talk about like the mental challenge, but then I want to compliment the mental awareness that you have to be a good teammate. Like that had to be rewarding, I'd bet. Did you see the game from a little bit of a different perspective when you were banged up like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like just watching them guys go out there and make plays and see how camaraderie they were, I'm like, man, it's very special. And you can only really see it when you're in a different perspective of watching it like a TV copy rather than being on the field. You don't really see the little small things that you get to see when you're watching it on TV. And it was like, man, these guys are all juiced up, playing fast, having fun. It's like, man, I really miss being out there with those guys.
You were smiling when you first mentioned being healthy here, for those that are not watching the show. So what was it like, that feeling running out to Autzen last week? Like, did that hit you a little different?
Yeah, it did. It did hit me. Like, going out there, seeing the fans, everybody's out there live, happy, having fun. And then for me to be healthy, it's like, man, it felt good to be out there like, okay, I can finally be myself again, be healthy, and just go out there and rock out.
Well, how was Shout?
It was great. It's always great. Like, every experience we get in that, man, everybody's on their feet, screaming, shout, man, it's always great.
All right, I want to get a timeout. We're going to come back, talk a little bit about your journey, and then I haven't even talked with you much about football. We're going to talk about downfield blocking. That came up last week. Gary Bryant Jr. with us. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially. Like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about. More for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
There's more Duck football around the corner.
Gets a first down and more. He got it in. Show me touchdown. Touchdown, Oregon.
60 seconds away on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, I left my heart in Oregon. Yeah, I left my heart in Oregon.
We're back with Gary Bryant Jr., talking with one of Oregon's outstanding wide receivers. It's week 2, getting ready for Oklahoma State. I know everybody wants to score touchdowns, as you said. So I'm going to start there. What's the best touchdown catch you've ever made in your entire career?
The best touchdown catch. I don't know, man. It's kind of hard. But I think like the first touchdown I had here.
Really?
It was an easy walk-in touchdown, but it's like coming to a new school.
It hits you.
It hits you different for sure. It hits you way different, and then to see, because after the games, it's a lot of fans on the field, and just to see like them come up to you and how they love the players here, man, it's like it's one of a kind for sure.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, now you always hear the phrase, no block, no rock. Of course, that was a big focus from really the entire fan base, Gary, to be honest with you. And you talked about this a little bit. Just how big of a deal is blocking to a wide receiver? How big of a deal is that?
I mean, here is prominent. Like, you have to be able to block. In order to play football here, you have to be able to block because we have a balanced run game and pass game. So if you can't block, man, you won't be out there on the field. And I remember, like, my freshman year, they were like, man, if you want to be able to play, you got to be able to block because when you get in the game, teams know, like, okay, he can't block. It's going to be a pass 8 out of 10 times. So, like, you got to be able to block. You got to.
Was that the biggest adjustment for you moving to college football from high school? Was like the blocking facet of your position?
Yeah, for sure. Especially playing like inside receiver. It's a lot of things that go into it. Like, you got to know who to block, how to block, and when to block. So that was like the biggest thing, man, just going in there and just putting on weight, getting strong, and to be able to block those bigger guys inside.
Tell us a little bit about the rest of the wide receiver room. What do you like with your group this year?
I mean, like, everybody's talent is far beyond from what I see in a lot of rooms. Like, we have a guy that could do every different thing from a 6'7" receiver to a 5'10" receiver, explosive, good route running, fast. But I think the biggest thing is, like, just everybody's connected, well connected. There's no selfish guy in the room like, man, I need to play this amount of snaps or I need this amount of catches or this amount of touchdowns. Everybody's just like, man, I'm going to go out there and do my job, and everything will pay off in the end. And, man, it's been a blessing to see that, like, because a lot of receiver, it's only one ball, man. It's one ball, so it gets a little grimy in there. But, this year I see a lot of the guys like, man, whatever we can do to help this team win, we all in.
Well, you talk about, like, there only being one ball, but there's also so many plays throughout a game, right? I mean, how does that, I guess, factor into what you think about when you're lining up? Like, okay, it might not be me this time, but it's going to be me the next time. Like, what's that like mentally as a receiver, as a pass catcher?
You just got to be one play focused. Like, if it's a run play, this play, be detailed in who you got to block and get a job done. And then when you get the next play, if the ball comes to you or don't, it's like, man, when my chance come, I need to make the most of it. If you don't think that way, and when your chance come, you won't catch the ball, or you won't run the right route, or you won't get to your depth, so you would never get the ball.
Yeah.
But if you think like, man, if I could just do my job for one play at a time, the ball will find me, and then you'll make the best of it.
How big of a deal is it too to learn, multiple, not just the route tree here, but like, and concepts, but the different positions that a wide receiver may play within an offense? Everyone always talks about, you're going to play outside, you're going to play inside, but just, I don't know, take fans through that process if you could. Like, what's it like to be playing in those different spots at an offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's important. Like, so there's like 3 wide receiver positions. You never know. Somebody might get hurt, and during the game, a coach might need you to go play outside. So it's like, if you can know certain concepts and you study the plays, man, you can get on the field. There's a lot of guys that are like, man, I only play inside, I only play outside. But the guy that can do both, he has a bigger chance of getting on that field because he knows how to play outside. He knows what to do inside. But I think that's the biggest thing that separates wide receivers. Like, if you got high IQ and okay, I can study concepts and I know where to be, when to be, that's going to help you get on the field.
Okay, now this might sound joking, but I'm hoping that you're going to take this the right way. What percentage of plays do cornerbacks hold or commit pass interference on?
Oh, man. I'll say it depends how bad you beat them. It depends how bad you beat the DB. But on the average, I say like 7 to 8 times out of 10, you're going to get held.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is like, do offensive linemen hold on every play? A defensive lineman's going to say, of course.
Every play, yeah.
Right, yeah.
For sure.
How often do you think that a wide receiver gets away with an offensive pass interference in today's football?
He might get away with it probably twice or 3 times out of 10 plays.
I think that was an honest answer. Like I just want to say, like,
he might get away with
that
it
is
twice
an
or 3
honest
times.
answer. You could have just said never. Like, no, I'm never doing that, right? But
he might get away with it depending on how bad it was or who they playing that week.
I get it. All right, now I'm curious to zoom out with you a little bit. If you could give one piece of advice to 17-year-old you, like you go back in time, talk to 17-year-old Gary, what would you tell him?
Just stay committed. Stay committed, man. 10 toes down to whatever you want. Like, whatever you want to be in life, it's out there for you, but you just got to stay committed and work hard. You grind towards it, it'll come. Now,
after a long, successful NFL career, what are you going to do? So take us like 15 years into the future.
Well, I like real estate. So that's what I really want to do. I really want to get into real estate outside of football. And then, I really want to be kicked up, man, feet up. After a 15-year career, I want to be feet kicked up, man, just making money, living life.
That's great. All right, now, of course, we have to talk a little bit of special teams. I'll leave you with this punt returning. When did you start doing that, and what does it take to be a good punt returner?
I remember, like, being 6, 7 years old, and my pops he's throwing the ball 50 yards in the air, like, man, just catch it. And just being able to track the ball at such a young age. And then when I got to high school, it was just natural for me. Like, it's always been natural for me. Just seeing the ball, being behind the ball, fielding the ball. But I think it just takes, like, you got to be fearless back there. You got to be fearless, man. You got people running 22 miles per hour at you, and you looking up in the air, not knowing if he's going to hit you or not, or they might your own teammate might run into you. But you got to be fearless, and you got to be patient back there. If you don't have any patience back there, you'll be just drifting with the ball. You might not know where the ball might land, and bad things can happen on punt return.
Coach Lorig has always said you need a lot of courage to be back there, what you're saying. So can you describe for people that are not brave enough to be back there or skilled enough to be back there, what is that feeling like with 11 people running 22 miles an hour at you?
Yeah, at first it's kind of frightening. Because like I said, even if you fair catch, the DB still could just run full speed and hit you.
They could clock you.
But at a certain point, it's like, okay, if you back there fearless, you know your rules. Okay, if I fair catch, I get a 3-yard halo around me. Being smart back there, man. Like, you got to have a certain feel for it. I got a 10-yard window. I can return this ball. Just having that mindset of, like, man, I'm gonna be courageous, man. But I want to catch every punt return, but being smart about it.
Well, Gary Bryant Jr., everybody, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. And we look forward to that long and successful NFL career where you get to put your feet up.
Yes, sir.
Done. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Gary
guys.
Bryant Jr., when we come back, Jerry and Jorgie, some final keys, getting ready for week 2 after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Go Ducks! Go Ducks!
Touchdown, Oregon! That quick! Oh, my.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is,
You can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
I want to come back from a break. By the way, welcome to Country Financial Studios for the Coaches Show. I want to come back from a break with Jorgie and Joy and me dancing on the floor like the team does.
Oh.
No. What were you thinking?
Nothing.
Oklahoma State, the Cowboys coming up this Saturday, 12:30. A little after that for the kickoff pregame show at 10:30. Kind of a dangerous team. I worry about teams who've had a coach been there a long time, new DC, new offensive coordinator, a lot of coaching staff. But that just worries me because you don't know what you're getting.
Whole new coaching staff.
Yeah.
Apart from the head guy. And look, they went 0-9 in conference last year. First time in 18 years they haven't had a winning season. So I don't care what the score was, getting a win against anybody in week one. And they had a few extra days to prepare compared to Oregon with playing on a Thursday. Yeah, I think they don't have anything to lose except take your best shot at Oregon, right?
I'll be honest. That's too good of a program to say what they were last year is what they are going to be. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, generally when you step from a Montana State to an Oklahoma State, you're going to see a few more dudes this week than you saw last week. Certainly. And so all it takes is one or two or three to make big plays on offense or defense, and it can be a tight game. Oregon's just got to come out and play their game. Just focus on the preparation, prepare like Coach had them prepared to go last week. I thought one of the best non-conference games I've seen them play against a team like a Montana or an Idaho or a Utah Valley State or whoever we've ever seen come in the past. That was one of the most solid ones right there. Just keep it going and execute against a team like Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we're going to need bigger spotting boards because the number of guys that played last week. We're going to see there's a lot of talent on this team, Joey. I mean, this
never dropped off.
Didn't drop off. And they want that depth to be on display. And there's so many positive reasons for that.
Yeah.
And hope that the score leads to more of that rotation this week.
Another decent weekend weather-wise. It's going to be perfect. So get out there early, tailgate, have fun. Again, we're on the air 10:30 in the Oregon Sports Network. 12:30, a little after kickoff for that. And then it's on the road. That's the next one. Okay, we'll talk about this week. That's it. Friday, the Pick Show. Talk to you then. Bye-bye. God bless everybody.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life.